It's showtime. Happy Friday, everybody. That's right. I said Friday. Yay, it's Friday. Anyway, hope you all have fun plans for the weekend. I got a lot of responses today to my email. If you did not get it, go check it out, where I explained how I wanted to give birth to a 9-year-old, which is true. And the story behind that is I did not do the early years well. I did not. And even though I really helped my sister when my niece and nephew were small, I slept over. I thought, I was like, I got this. I know this. And hey, Carolyn, happy Friday to you. I got this. And yeah, and then when I had my daughter, I was sorely mistaken and completely unprepared for the next, like 8 years. And so what I say I wanted to give birth to a 9-year-old is because right now my daughter is super fun, witty, independent. I don't have to do much. She's just fun to hang out with. And that is what I thought I was giving birth to. And a lot of times what happens is, hey, Aurora, we think that of our businesses as well, right? You have this grand idea for your business and you want to, bring your gift and your light to the world and share it with the world. And then it's like, wah, 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 right? There's so much because you have to really nurture and raise this business baby to get it to a point where you're actually making recurring revenue that can support you and your family and all of those things. And so, in your head, just like for me when I was having a baby, I was like, yay, I'm going to give birth and we're going to have fun and it's going to be great. And instead it was a little bit different than that. But now my bio baby and my business baby are where they need to be. But what I wanted to talk about today are really, how I prep for my life. So what I talked about are the things that I would do differently with if I had baby number 2, a business baby number 2, not a bio baby number 2. That ship has sailed and sailed and sailed. But a business baby 2 is, first of all, I would stop worrying about the fluff and start worrying about the fuel. And the fuel is what you have to offer to the world. And I would do it in the simplest way, right? I don't need a lot of fancy landing pages or slick sales funnels or anything like that. I have them now, but I didn't need them when I was first starting. And I wish I had known that because I spent too many hours just trying to, make my things look like Amy Porterfield's things. And Amy Porterfield had been doing it for years, right? And so I wish I had known that I could have launched my business without having all of that stuff. The second part brings me to the thing of hiring. And you hear every single entrepreneur say this. So I want you to hear this. If you have not hired yet, hear me say this to you as the person who pulls back the curtain. And I am sharing only the things that I've gone through is hire before you think you're ready. If there are things that you don't want to do, don't have time to do, don't light you up, but you need to do them to move your business forward, hire somebody to do it. Because I spent too many hours trying to figure out how to do things that, quite honestly, I don't want to do. Now I have a team, everybody is a contractor, but it's nice to have people doing the things that I don't even want to know how it works. I want you to send me a Vox and tell me that I need to go fill something in. That is how I work best. That has grown my business exponentially. And then the third thing I talked about this morning is really, I wish I had shown up earlier to say, hey, I'm here. And here's what I have to offer. And so really when we talk about today, when we talk about I'm going to share my, how do I prep for my videos? What is my creation process? My visibility prep plan, all of that is born out of, you also need to start making videos before you think you're ready to start making videos. Because if you are online, even if you have the twinkle of an idea, you need to start fleshing that out right now. And so I'm going to start with, I'm going to talk about, the things that I do to plan for it and where I post my videos, how I decide what to talk about. But I talked about the one big mistake I think smart entrepreneurs make, and whether you're been in business online for a while or you're just starting out, is waiting too long to do videos, any kind of videos. And again, if you're brand new to videos, start with live. I know it seems scary, but that's the easiest way to start. It's why I developed Live Video Launchpad, which is 10 days accelerated. You'll go from, I don't know what to do to like, got it, right? Your videos do not need to be perfect. And again, this is something I struggled with because I'm the video lady. I needed to show up a certain way and I had to do that. And video is a process, one you need to start right now. And again, I'm going to bang you overhead a little bit because a couple of years ago, video was a nice to have. And unless you've been hiding under a rock, you realize video is not going away as much as you really wanted to. The picture sharing app is turning into a video sharing app. Instagram. YouTube is the most viewed site on the internet, right? So video, and your audience wants video. There are very few people who are like, I'd rather read it. There are times where I maybe want to read it, but that's why you would have captions, right? But video is just far more engaging. Your audience retains a lot more. And like the biggest takeaway, again, if you're new and you're like, yeah, but I don't really know, whatever, fill that in for yourself. Hey, Sabrina, is it really helps you when you have to get up on video. I've challenged not one, but two people this week in different groups I'm in. And I'm like, well, go live and tell me about that. Because when you have to verbalize what it is that you do for other people or what your offer is or what you're sharing with the world, it really helps you hone in on your message and it helps you hone in and get clarity on what it is you are offering to the world. And that gets easier and better. And then you can use your videos for copy because you can translate that copy into emails. And again, video, but it's not the type of thing you want to wait until. You don't have to wait until you have a list. You don't have to wait until you have a following. You don't have to wait until you have a budget for Facebook ads. All of this, they're all excuses. You don't have to wait for the right technology. You don't have to wait to lose 5 pounds. You don't have to wait to get your bangs cut in. Bangs instead of Botox, my friend, right? These are all excuses. And like belly buttons, we all have them. And I have run through every single one of those excuses with you on why I didn't want to put myself out there because I'm the video person. I had to be perfect on video. No. So that is the number one thing I feel that's the biggest mistake smart entrepreneurs are making is they think that video is somehow going to magically show up in their lives and get easier. And it's not. And there is no easy button for video. What I can tell you is once you start making the videos, once you start showing up, every single person, every 100% of everyone I work with says like, oh my gosh, I wish I had started this sooner, right? So at this point, you're leaving money on the table because again, even without a following, my favorite story is Steven, copywriter. I challenged him to do video, Come on, you got to get on video. He goes live in imperfect action and gets a client, someone he was on his profile page, someone friend of him from a while ago. Oh my gosh, I didn't know you did this, and got a big contract out of it, right? Like, so that is, he didn't have a following, he didn't have a list, he wasn't sending it out, he wasn't making an ad out of it. He simply got up, and by up, I mean went live and said, here's what I do. And so I'd love to know, feel free to share some of those excuses or reasons, we'll call them reasons, I won't attack you today, but reasons you're not using video, because I want to help you through that. And again, I will come back at you with, again, YouTugle, you can find out how to do anything, how to set up the video, what light do I need? All of that is YouTubeable. Now I'm just making stuff up, but you can Google it and find it on YouTube. You can be set up in 10 minutes, right? That's not actually why you're not going live. And that's not actually why you're not making videos. Maybe, you did video and you had to do 200 takes and the editing, then start with live video. Live video is super duper forgiving. Aurora, super true. Video is so efficient to share your message, offer expertise. Hey, Amanda, right. And Aurora will tell you, I love working with Aurora because like me, you realize like, oh my gosh, I could go live and do this in like 10 or 15 minutes, or I could spend a half an hour trying to write down my thoughts on what this is and put it in a way that makes sense, right? Instead of just making bullets and talking off of the bullets, which is what you will get to with live video. Now, everybody's process is different. Sabrina, yeah. So Sabrina said I did 2 minutes of videos with a TV remote and a box of wine and 2 people joined my group. Oh my gosh. I'm taking a screen grab of that later, right? A 2-minute video, TV remote, and a box of wine. Fantastic, right? So showing up in that imperfect action, and you simply don't know who's watching. Again, no one needs to be on their live with you for that live to be successful. There's lots of different things you can do with that live to use it and reuse it. I call that deja video, where you take the same video and you use it many, many, many different ways. And so right, we're only on number 1, right? Like, so that one big mistake, the one that is actually costing you time and money, is not using video, flat out. Aurora said, yes, you share what you know, and people get to hear your voice and experience what it's like to hang out with you. Yes, and there's a ripple effect of that as well, is because people buy human to human. They're not buying your thing, your widget. They're not buying your product. They're not buying your coaching. They're not buying your membership. They're not buying your, like whatever it is you're selling. That's not actually what they're buying. They're buying you. And video allows people to instantly say, oh, I like her. Now I feel like I know her. She's on video. People respect you going live or going on video because they understand that it's a hard thing to do. I very rarely meet people who are like, I love video. I do meet them every once in a while. But even those people will reach out to me and I'll watch and say, okay, well, here's how we can make those videos more efficient, more clear, those types of things. Those are little audits that we do with the video, right? Like, so it is a progression and you will get better, but you can't get better unless you actually start. So that's what we started a little backwards, but that is really the one mistake that smart entrepreneurs are making, is that they are not using video at all and they're waiting. I don't know what you're waiting for, but if you're waiting, you can tell me what you're waiting for. What are you waiting for? So the first thing I want to cover today is when we're going to tap into Tracy's creative brain of like, how do I prep for videos? How did I prep for today's video? The one thing I can tell you is I don't wing it. I never wing it. Even when I do webinars or I'll do masterclasses or I'll do something and I'm not using slides, I have a script, whether that's bullet points or sentences. A lot of times for my lives, I like to write out an intro and then I bullet point what I want to teach. And then I will write out a call to action, or outro, I call it, just to keep me on track. Do I while away and go on a soapbox? Yes, most of the times I'm live, I do. But then I come back. So my process for my lives are simply having an outline. I have an Evernote. That's what I use. And this is something I want to suggest for you, is where are you going to put those ideas down so you know you can go back. I have an Evernote called Lives Now. And what that is, those are my weekly lives. I go live once a week. Once a week. It used to be Wednesdays in the later afternoon. I was trying Friday mornings. Today I tried Friday at 11:30. Everything's a grand experiment, my friends. And so when you ask me what the best time is to go live, it's the best time for you. And then ask your audience. Then you can look at the insights on Facebook and see where people are, YouTube or wherever you're going, like what people are doing. But this is the process, right? So there's no right or wrong way to do it. If going live at 8 p.m. on Mondays is the only time you can do it, that's when you go live, because the magic is in the replay anyway. But when we talk about videos and coming up with ideas, that's my lives now. Now, the big question I get, and I created an entire module in my video launchpad around this that's going to be taken out for you, is what do you talk about? And I can't tell you what to talk about unless you tell me, first of all, are you in launch? Are you leading up to a launch, or are you out of launch? Because I can't help you figure out what you're supposed to be talking about unless I know those things, because the content for each of those are very different. Why? If I'm in a runway to launch 6 and 6, which is my scripting. That's my scripting course. It's 6 weeks. It's really 8 weeks, but that didn't sound as good. So it's 6 videos I think everybody should have for an online business. These are pre-recorded videos. You're at a certain place in your business when you sign up for this, right? But when I'm in launch for that, I start to talk about more scripting things or editing or recording or teleprompters or content for your homepage, or maybe I offer out a homepage video workshop. By the way, I'll be offering out a homepage video workshop soon, right? Because leading up to that, what do people talk about? Where do I show up? Those are things I would be talking about when I'm launching into 6 and 6. That's my runway. So for about 6 weeks prior to whatever it is, whether it's Live Video Launchpad or something, whatever it is, then I'm going to be talking about that. So that means I know the content that I'm going to talk about and I have it listed out, and then I go and I'm like, okay, I know for the next 6 weeks I'm going to be talking about, and I have a Trello board of topics leading up to 6 and 6. That makes sense to my audience. So again, a lot of what I teach, if you've been through Live Video Launchpad, is the magical content wheel, is getting all the ideas out of your head. And then we have a training on then what? Like where are your audience? Where are you? What are you working on? So that's my launch, right? So if I'm leading up to launch, my runway topics are different, right? Than if I'm simply in nurture. And simply in nurture is you can just be teaching things that bring people closer to you. You can be interviewing people. You can be telling stories, that type of nurture content, so that they are leaning in, they're learning something, but you're not necessarily sending them, maybe you send them to a freebie, maybe you send them to somebody else's video. So again, it's really important to know, like, what are you gearing up to? What is the end goal? And I always ask this. I do 90-minute deep dives with people. And the first thing I ask is, they have to do a little pre-work before we hop on, is what is your goal? What do you want people to do? And so your nurture goal is a little bit different, because you simply want people to lean in, pay attention, get to know you and like you. That's a great goal. That's perfect. That's visibility. That's your currency, because the visibility then turns into, when you go into pre-launch, they're still paying attention. You're creating momentum, right? Now, if you're in launch, right, open cart. So I have the 5 super short videos I think everybody needs for an open cart, because these are things that are specifically talking about what you want people to buy from you. Right? So you have your anticipation video, you have your social proof video, you have your value video, you have, right? Like, the doors are open. Like, there are 5 videos throughout your open cart. Those videos are very specific to what your goal is. Your goal is to sell your coaching, your program, your membership, your vegan cheese, whatever it is you're selling for that time. That is the goal. So can you see how, when people ask me, like, I don't know what to talk about, I have to ask that next question of that, where are you? What are you? Where are you in the journey? Where are your folks in the journey? Because again, when we talk about content, I get into this in Live Video Launchpad, and is really also like, where is your audience in respect to what you have to offer? Like, is it the type of thing that they don't know they need? Like life coaching or something like that? You have to do a little pre-work. You have to kind of come into their feed and say, like, did you know this? A little rebel rousing, a little myth busting, a little, right? Like, you have to get them into your world to say, like, hey, I have something that you may need. Or is it more like mine, where they're actively, they know they should be using video. They've bought a bunch of courses. They didn't connect with the person because the person wasn't there live with them, whatever the reasons are, or they keep buying these $27, $37 video courses, which are good, but aren't moving them forward because they need feedback, right? And then they find me and they're like, oh, I really like your style. I cannot tell you how many emails I get a day, or my YouTube comments are always like, oh, I really like your teaching style. Great. That's them leaning in and saying, okay, I like her, I choose her, right? But they're at a different place because they're looking for someone to guide them in video, right? So that's a different place. Where are your folks? So my content changes. I'm not going to try and convince people they need video. I do that once you're in my world. I keep banging you over the head because I have the lurkers, right? The people who are like, I don't need video. They know they need it though, right? So I never have to really come in and say, did you know that there's this thing called video where I don't have to do any training like that. People are very aware that video is out there and that they need to take advantage of it. Now, what I will do is education on mindset or right, like all of these other things, or tech setup, or why you don't need a tech setup, or editing versus this, right? Like, so I can come in at all those different places and reach different people through there, but they're all, Tracy has a big stick. I don't know why, but that sounds dirty, Sabrina. Yes, I like to call it my little whip. Right? My little whip. And I like to say that my one hand is holding out, right? I want to hold my hand out to you. But in my other hand is a tiny whip, because I know your potential. I know what video can bring to your business, and you have to be willing to do it. It's why I would make a terrible life coach. I really enjoy telling you what to do. And I especially love when people actually do what I tell them to do. And then I get emails back that say, I really wanted video not to work, but I just got a giant contract because I went live for the first time. I love those, right? Sorry, a tiny whip, big stick, tiny whip, doesn't matter, Sabrina. It's all still sounding a little bit dirty, and I love it. You know I do, right? So that is when I'm talking about, like, what am I talking about? I very much know my launching schedule and what I'm going to be putting out into the world and how I'm bringing other people into my world, right? And so again, there are some nurture videos I can send people to if they're new to my world. A nurture video that I do for every single person who joins my world is I send them a Bonjoro. It's a personalized 30 to 45 second video. It's really me. I'm really sending that to you specifically and saying hi and driving people over to Video Playground, where I like to nurture folks, right? That's a nurture video that I have built into that system. So the question of what I don't really know what to talk about is, you actually do know exactly what to talk about. You don't know how to take those brilliant ideas and clarify them and put them into a way that makes sense to your audience, which is why you're here and what I help people do. That is my magical gift to the internet world, right? And so then when the next question on top of that becomes, well, where do I post my videos? And this is a really important question, because your video content will change based on where you're putting your videos. And so on top of knowing where you are and what you're launching and what, like, you know, are you in nurture? Are you are you in your runway? Are you actually in launch? Is if you're posting in a social media platform, and I consider Instagram and Facebook social media. I consider LinkedIn kind of its own because it's a professional site. I've talked about this before. And then YouTube is a search engine. Pinterest is a search engine, but I don't really do a lot on Pinterest. But again, the content changes, because if I'm doing a nurture video, which I'm doing right now, in Facebook, I also use it in YouTube just to get watch hours. I would do a different video on YouTube if I was actually making a YouTube video, because YouTube is a search engine. People are looking for the answer. They're looking for, how do I set up my ring light? Where do I look when I'm recording my own videos? It's the little green dot, everybody, by the way, which is my most popular video. I did it over 3.5 years ago. I think at this point it's like 26 or 27,000 views, and I haven't done anything with it. It's just simply putting a video out there that people are searching for. So again, there are a couple things here, right? You have to know where you are in launch, or if you're just getting started, it's nurture. Just start nurturing people, right? Don't even think about the launch yet. But are your folks on YouTube, are they actively searching for things? And then you want to make sure those videos are structured around the how. What are people in your field? And again, I'm such a fan of PVA, that's Primal Video Accelerator. It's not open right now, but you will know what it is because I'm an affiliate for it. And it's a YouTube membership site. I think it's the best, not just YouTube membership site, but I think it's the best membership site out there ever. It's so well thought through, and I'm actively going through it with a group of people to start making new content. But again, the content is based on research. It's not really where your folks are, what they're struggling with. It's what's the general public asking about this. I had a lovely call with a woman yesterday. She's in an amazing niche, and she does a lot of it's basically like how your neurosystem is dealing with stress and that type of thing, and also pregnancy, prenatal, postnatal, those types of things. Her language around what's going on is not what people are searching for. So we went through and we do searches. What are people searching for? What is the volume of that search, so that she can make a video with her spin on it and put it in the world, so that when someone does post, do I have postpartum depression? She can talk about what's going on in the nervous system, which maybe other people don't really talk about that. Right. And so it's really just knowing where is your audience? What are they looking for? And what do you need to put out there? And then like your calls to actions, again, change depending on, this is a nurture video. Your call to action is to let me know what's holding you back from video, because I've already told you that the biggest mistake entrepreneurs, even smart ones, are making are that they're not using video. So what do you need me to do? What can I do to help you get on video? I hop on calls all the time just to simply motivate and get people going. Do you need a 90-minute deep dive with me so I can help you plan out? Go ahead, email me, Tracy@videoscriptsuccess.com. I should have that as a little banner, but I don't, right? So there are so many different ways you can get started with video. You simply have to think about these things first. So when I talk about my creative process, again, a lot of it is just knowing where I'm in launch. And then I have a place to put all of these. So whether it's a Trello board, you use Asana boards, however it is, you want to make sure that most of my ideas come when I'm either talking to clients or students, or I'm meditating, or I'm walking, or I'm somewhere out in the world. I want to make sure I can write these down, and then I bring them all over into my Trello board so that I know. And I have that my Trello board built out as nurture, pre-launch, launch. For all of the things that I offer, I have Trello boards for these so that the ideas are not lost, so that I know I can go back from them. And then when it's time for me to go live, I will say, oh, this fits in here, and then I'll develop the idea. I spend probably about 10 minutes now prepping for my lives. 10 minutes, right? I've been talking for 26 minutes. It didn't start that way. I used to write it out word for word when they were 5-minute videos. When I was brand new, I was terrified of forgetting or getting off track or doing anything like that. And so I would have it all in front of me. I cover my face with my notes. I take my virtual Evernote over to make sure I don't forget anything. And because there is no reason for me to be looking at me. At this point, 27 minutes in, if there is something on my teeth, or if my lipstick accidentally got up here, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because the information that I'm giving you is supposed to be helpful, not what I look like, right? And again, it's not about you. So again, when we're talking about getting prepped, getting ready, getting the creative juices going, I only flush out I'll flush out the idea for about 10 minutes, because you all are the experts in your field. You're smart, you're educated, you know what you need to be talking about. It's simply structuring it in an idea. If you're doing live, many of you have come in. I have a Thrive on Live cheat sheet. It's the hook, right? Your hook. How are you getting them in? I told you I was going to share you what's inside of my brain and my creative process. That's the hook, right? And then you teach, or the heart, and that's basically I'm going over, the mistake and where you post and what you should talk about, right? And then your call to action. Your call to action today is simply to let me know what is it that's holding you back from doing video, because I need you to be making videos. And if your answer to that is it's complicated, it's hard, I don't have an editor, then you're starting with the wrong videos. You should not be making pre-recorded videos and complaining about that. If you're at a point in your business where you need to be making like a homepage video, an opt-in video, a sales page video, then that's 6 and 6, right? Like that's what we do there. And we talk about recording and teleprompters and all those things. But if you simply have not started with video, you're not comfortable on video yet, please don't think that pre-recorded video is the way to go. It's not. You need to be going live. You need to be figuring out who you are. You need to be getting comfortable and clarifying that message and really understanding who you serve and what you bring to the world and that transformation, right? And then you can move over. But again, let me know. Yes, still writing a lot of the scripts. Yeah. And you write the scripts. But what I don't want is that perfect inaction, that perfectionist Patty loves so much. She holds you there because the scripts don't need to be perfect. Now, if we're scripting, for an actually scripted, pre-recorded video that's going to be edited together, or a YouTube video or something like that, then yes, take the time to script. But again, even then, don't get caught up on the script for too long. Next week, I don't think I'm actually going to go live next week because I will be visiting, I was going to say sunny, but tropical and sunny New Jersey. I'm going to be spending a little time with my family. So I have just decided on the spur of the moment not to go live next week. Of course, I'll be here and checking in. But again, what I would love to see is you going live, you embracing this, you taking some action so you get momentum so that you are visible and you can turn that visibility into currency, because that is how it works. And so if you stay hidden on the sidelines, if you stay in the shadows, no one's going to know who you are. And if no one knows who you are, they will not know that you have something to offer. So Sabrina says, I've now done weekly lives for 8 weeks. And that, my friend, is to be celebrated. I always say I don't do happy clapper clubs, meaning I'm going to tell you what you want to hear, but I do a round of applause for people who take action. So Sabrina, I celebrate you. I'm so excited that you were part of Live Video Launchpad, and I love that you are taking action. And my next step is when I get back from my mini vacation, I am going to reach out to you so we can have a little chat and I can record all of the wonderful things that you have to say about Live Video Launchpad. Okay, I will see you in 2 weeks. Please make sure that you are getting the help that you need, whatever it is. If you need that tiny whip, I've got it right. I really should buy a little prop because for now, the only prop my daughter has left on my desk is this one. This is how I'm feeling today about you and all of the videos that you are going to make. I will see you in 2 weeks. Take care.